Today we're going to talk about your symmetrical silhouette design. So first of all, symmetry is a kind of balance in which one side has the same thing as the other. One side is exactly equal to the other. Okay, so if you have one thing over here, then you have the mirror image over here. Okay, so for example, here if I turn this off, this is half the design. The other half of the design is the same exact thing, it's just flipped in mirror image. Okay, so now this is a very easy kind of design to create, but of course we're learning Photopea skills, so it's not quite as easy as it looks possibly, if you are new to Photopea. Okay, so I'm going to start with a new document. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to New. This time I think I'm going to make a vertical. You can make a vertical or a horizontal. Okay, we're going to call this project Your First and Last Name, and we're going to call it Symmetrical Balance. Whoops. Okay, we're going to change the dimensions to inches, and since I'm making a vertical, I'm going to make the width 11 and the height 14. And the DPI is 300 in case we want to print these at some point. Okay, so we are using silhouettes for our shapes. So I'm going to go and, go to Photopea and go to File, Open. And I'm going to find one of my many silhouettes that I have on this design. Let's see, I love this leaping ballerina. Okay, now this is off the internet, so I'm going to, I don't have it on a separate layer, so to get it on a separate layer I have to use the Magic Wand tool. So I'm going over to the toolbar. I'm going to separate the figure from the background by going to the fourth tool down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and when we hold, this is the object selection tool, but we're going to use the Magic Wand tool because it's going to work super easy and well for this particular project and for this image because it's very high contrast, crisp edges. The Magic Wand tool selects everything that's the same color or value pixels. Okay, so that now that I'm on the Magic Wand tool, I want to make sure on the options that I'm on the replace. In Photoshop this would be make a new selection, but in Photopea it's called replace. So we're going to click, and if you zoom in super close you can see there is a dotted line around the edge of my figure. Okay, so there are many ways we could do this. I'm going to just copy it, so I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, and then I'm going to go on to my background and go to Edit, Paste. Okay, I mean, if you want to use the keyboard commands, it's Command C to copy and Command V to paste. Okay, so now I have my figure and she is on her own layer, which is great. That's what I want. And she has nothing behind her. It's just, the figure. Okay, so now it's pretty small on the page. So if I would like to make it bigger, I need to go to the Transform tool. All right, to make it bigger, we're going up to the menu bar. We're going to go to Edit and go down to Free Transform. Okay, once we're on Free Transform, we hold the Shift key, and then we only go for, you have to go from one of the corners, not the center. If we go from the center, it will stretch it, and if you don't hold the Shift key the entire time that you're changing it, that you're transforming it, then it will be stretched. So hold on to that Shift key. So I'm going to pull this out from the corner. Now I'm letting go of my Shift key just to move it. And then I'm holding the Shift key again. Okay, maybe making it a little bit bigger. Now here I can also tilt it if I want to. Okay. And I might place it over here. I'm going to push the check mark. Now, one thing that I can add that can help me out with a symmetrical design is a line down the center vertically and horizontally. To do that, we're going to go to View, and we're going to go down to Add Guides. Okay? So our horizontal line is cutting the 14 in half. Well, first of all, when we get to this window that says Add Guides, make sure you change it to inches. Okay, so our horizontal line is going to cut the 14 dimension in half. So half of 14 is 7. So we're going to put the 7 in there. Okay, and then our vertical line is going to cut the 11 in half. So that would be 5.5. So 5.5. And okay. So that is those are my, center points, okay, to help me create this symmetrical design. Okay, so I'm going to put, it's okay if my figure goes over. We're going to cross the figures a little bit anyways and overlap them. All right. If I would like to change the color of the figure, I can do that now. Okay, I mean, I can do it at any time, but maybe I'll do it now. So to do that, I'm going to go to the paint bucket tool, which is underneath the gradient tool. Okay, click and hold and the drawer opens up. I go to the paint bucket tool, and then I'm going to go down to the color picker, double click and choose a color. So let's see, maybe I'm going to go with a lighter pink purple. Push OK, and I've got the paint bucket tool selected, normal blending mode, 100% opacity, 40 tolerance. I'm on the right layer. I just click. Okay, and now it is a different color. You can do whatever you like with the color on this one. It's really up to you. All right, I'll add the color to the background later. So here we go. I'm going to duplicate this layer so I can get a second figure. So I'm going to click on it, drag it down to this little icon right here, which it says new layer. When I hold my cursor there, it's next to the trash can. Notice I got a copy of layer 1. All right, now we're going to create our symmetrical design by flipping this last layer that we created. So we're going to go to Edit and Transform and flip horizontally. Okay, ooh, that's a really weird looking figure. As I pull this, whoops, Command Z goes back one step. Let me try that again, Command Z. Okay, I am still on the paint bucket tool, so I have to go to the move tool. Okay, and I'm on the top layer. Actually, I can put this on auto select right now. When I'm on the move tool, if I put it on auto select, whatever I point at, it will move that figure. Okay, so let's say I want to do something like this. Maybe I'm going to pull this one in and have them cross at the knees. I don't know. That looks a little weird. Maybe I'll have them cross more like, that's weird too. Let's see. I want there to be some negative space. Now, I like this placement, but it's not centered. So here is a tip on how to move these two together. Okay, if you want to connect two layers together, you click on the top layer that you want to connect, hold the Shift key, and click on the bottom layer. Okay, now these two are connected, and notice there's a little red line that pops up when I get it exactly to the center. Okay, now I could, one thing I can do to make this a little easier is if I want to keep these two kind of as a unit and repeat that, one thing, when you get a lot of layers, it gets a little bit confusing. So it's sometimes a good idea to put your layers that are going to stay together into a folder. So if you look down at the bottom of the layers palette, there is a new folder icon. So you click on that, and now, as long as I take it off auto select, when you have it in a folder, you don't want auto select on, because auto select is going to select one of the layers at a time. If we want to keep them together, take it off. Okay, so now they're going, no matter what I do, I can move them around, you know, as a unit. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate that folder and pull it down again. So notice the beautiful negative space shapes that we're making here. Just some really interesting shapes. So I can pull this down. There's so many things I could do to create this design. I can pull this down. I can make it smaller. So I can go to Edit and Free Transform. Since they're in the folder together, they stay together. I can transform them together, make them smaller, bring them to the center, okay? And let's see, maybe I want to change the color of both of these. So I'm gonna, well, sorry, I pushed the check mark at the top to finish the transformation, okay? And then I'm gonna open the folder, go back to my paint bucket tool, and I'm gonna maybe make them a little bit darker, maybe a little more intense in color. All right, now when I click on, whoops, I was on the folder layer. I have to click on the actual layer in order for it to fill in. So I click that. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. You know, so you guys, you know, this is part of design is experimenting. If I open the other folder, I can make her a different color. Now, it's not perfectly symmetrical, but the balance of the figures is still, you know, mirror image. And this darker image and this darker image help to balance each other out, okay? So I can close these folders up, okay? And I can even, let's see, connect the folders together. So I can hold the Shift key and click on the top folder, hold the Shift key, click on the bottom folder. Now all of my layers, whoops, I was on the wrong, okay, now I'm on the Move tool. So now all my layers are connected together and I can move them. I can duplicate them together as well. Okay, and pull that down. Okay. 1, 2, let's see, we got 1. Okay, so there should be a second. Got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got 2 layers that are one on top of the other. So there we go. There was another layer under here. They did duplicate both, but it didn't keep them in the same order. Okay, so there we go. So we've got that. Now, what else? I'm not loving this design though. So what if I take this layer and I flip it upside down? So I can go, what I want to do is select this layer, and I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Transform and Flip Vertical. Okay, so I've got this flipping. Okay, and maybe I'm going to go to, got to find that other layer. Here it is. I'm going to go to this layer and do the same. Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical. Okay, so click on this layer. Okay, and now I can kind of start to play with, okay, maybe I'm going to overlap them a little more. Now that they're all different colors, that really kind of helps it stand out. I'm going to go to that top layer. I think that's it there. I'm using the eyeball to kind of turn that on and off. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see. I think I'm going to go to this layer and duplicate that and pull that down. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to Edit Free Transform, hold the Shift key, and make it larger. But maybe, you know what, I think I want to flip them so that the colors are flipped. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Flip Horizontal. There we go, and it flipped the colors. Now this, I want it to be below the other figures. Okay, so this one right here is on the top of the other figures. If I pull them below, gotta find where it is. Okay, so I've got to take this one and pull it down to the bottom. Whoops, Command Z, I accidentally pulled it into the folder. So I have to click and make sure I don't put it in the folder, but I pull it down below. Did I do it? Nope, I did it. I put it in the folder again. Okay. So, having trouble with this. It's a little different than in Photoshop. It seems a little more difficult. Okay. Did I just move it to a different folder? Yeah, it's not letting me do that. Well, in the end, what I could do is I could just delete this. So, I mean, we are troubleshooting sometimes, okay? I'm going to close this up. Let me see. All right, so I'm just going to duplicate the top layer again. So there it is. Okay, and now I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical, bring it down. Okay, I still have the same problem. Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can, let's see, this is the group I need to get above. There we go. It looks like it's easier to raise the other one up to the top than to drag the other down. When I dragged it down, it did put it in the folder with the other one. Okay, so you know, I could still play around with this. Okay, maybe, for example, I'm going to make this one bigger. Oops. There. Okay, and now I'm going to find that last one. Where is it? There it is. That eyeball comes in handy. Edit, free transform. Make it bigger too. Holding the shift key all the time. Okay. Alrighty, so now I am going to create a background. So this is a symmetrical design. We've got one figure on this side, one figure on this side, and you know, it goes all the way down. So on the background, I am going to create a gradient. Okay, with the gradient, I'm going to double click here. I need it to be different colors than I already have. So if I double click on the stop, I get the color picker. Okay, and I can go to a much darker version of the color. And then on the white stop, let's see, I'm going to click over here to get the color, and I'm going to get to a more intense version. Let's see, I'm going to kind of move this around to see. I've got to make it different than my other color. So that's my color, so I'm going to pull it out like that. Okay. All right. So now I can click from bottom to top. Ooh, that's pretty nice. I can also go the other way, click top to bottom. That looks really, I think I like that better. We also have other gradients, so if I try the radial gradient, I'm going to go from the center out. Not bad. And from the center in, that gives me a different effect. Okay. I can also reverse it here. So if I go from the center out with the reverse on, ooh, that's nice. I kind of like that. All right, so now I'm going to save my design. File, save as PSD. That's for myself in case I want to change it. Okay, and then save it as a JPEG. Okay, so that you can upload that one to Teams. All right, so that is the symmetrical design. Okay, have fun with it. Bye.